there is a new technology which has been applied to the archaeology. It's called LiDAR or LiDAR technology. You have a little airplane or drone nowadays with a laser-like instrument that emits the rays. And those rays go in between the leaves and branches in the forest. They hit the ground. So once they go once, twice, three, few times, we can get exact look of what is below the greenery and the forest. For example, to the left, Cambodia. You see the trees and the forests. To the right, with the LiDAR technology, we can clearly see structures, rectangulars. This is Belize. Without the greenery, huge temples, pyramidal structures, other rectangular structures. Mexico, the reddish and brownish color above the ground, below the ground, below, huge structures. LiDAR in Visoko, the Sun Pyramid, the Moon, Dragon. So we have exact points where the tops are located. That's very important so we can get the relationships. The error is less than 10 centimeters. So, the top of the Sun, top of the Moon, Dragon, back to the Sun, and indeed, we got the confirmation about equilateral triangle. And without the greenery, without the forest and the houses, this is the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. Now, from this point up, 220 meters, and it is very obvious. However, without the greenery, you see how this corner goes all the way to the bottom of the valley. This is the eastern slope, and this is the northern. So, precise height is 368 meters. The possible look of the Pyramid Valley back then. Now let's see, when was that happening? The pyramids have been covered by soil and clay. If we can figure out the age of the soil, we can come to the minimum age of the structures below. The science that investigates the soil is called pedology. In Bosnia, we have Institute of Pedology, and they concluded that the soil on top of the Sun and the Moon pyramid is between 12 and 15,000 years, meaning the structures are much older. And then our Italian archaeologists, Niccolo Visconti and Riccardo Brett, while excavated on the top of the Sun Pyramid, you see those huge concrete blocks, they were removing the soil and the clay, they discovered a piece of this brownish material, organic material. It is on the top of the block, it's on the surface. It can give us minimum age. We did radiocarbon dating, and the age is 24,800 plus minus 200 years before present. So we go back for 25,000 years. And this is the minimum age of the Pyramid of the Sun. If we could find organic material between those concrete blocks, that would give us precise age of the construction. And that's exactly what happened. Under the supervision of our archaeological manager, Tim Moon from New Zealand, below the first row of block, this is Canadian volunteer, he's showing the place where we discovered organic material, to be more precise, fossilized leaves. How did they get there? Somebody was pouring the first row of concrete blocks, the second, the third. The wind was blowing, bringing those leaves, and then they placed the final blocks of concrete. But those leaves, they are like in the sandwich. They are organic material. You can date them. And this is what we did. And the age is 29,200 years plus minus 400 years before present. So we go back for 30,000 years. We've done 28 dating so far. We don't have a time to go in very specific. But you can see the consistency. It's not like you find 2,000 and then 50,000. It's very logical. Soil, 15,000. Minimum age, 25,000. The real age, 29,000. People who talk against the project, people who are skeptics, what they do, they give their opinions. And that's fine. But opinions are irrelevant in the world of science. What was happening 30,000 years ago? According to the archaeologists and historians, nothing. The era of the primitive caveman, Paleolithic times. Do they read about the new sensational discoveries? On the bottom of the Pacific floor, Yonaguni monuments. Here we can see carved granite megalithic blocks, stepped in design, temples on the top, half-rounded terraces. The Japanese archaeologists are claiming this is all natural. Sea streams made those steps and structures. And they are supported by German and American archaeologists and geologists, the same one who's been attacking us. Unfortunately, Robert Schoch among them, German Archaeological Institute. Lebanon, Baalbek. This block at the time when I made the photo, 15, 20 years ago, it was the biggest one, 1,250 tons. This was the largest, 840 tons, on the top of the hill. Somebody moved it and lifted it. In the last 5 years, German archaeologists, they discovered two even bigger blocks. The biggest one, 1,650 tons. They have no clue who, when, how, why. Göbekli Tepe, the late Dr. Klaus Schmidt discovered this site, and during his time he uncovered 3 megalithic circles, T-shaped. Most probably the original look was like this. When I talked to him, he told me there are probably 100 of them. After he passed away, the Turkish government took over, they uncovered 3 more. 100. Millions of tons of material, extremely hard limestone material. Who transported them? Who designed them? You would expect to have a city of 200,000 people around. Not a single residential house in the area. Wikipedia is saying 11,600 years old. Well, Dr. Schmidt did 4 radiocarbon dating. It was 10,000 BC. 10,000 plus 2,000, it's 12,000 before present. But the calibrated date, you need to add about 14%. The real age, 13,600. And that was on the top of the blocks, minimum age. When I spoke to him, he told me between 15 and 18,000 years. Let's go to the Bosnian underground. Not political, which is very developed, but archaeological. Entrance to the tunnels, light blue, Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, light blue, 280 meters below the top. This is our ultimate archaeological goal, to get there. This is how they look like. I told you 6 entrances. The first one, the best known, are the Ravne tunnels. Ravne in Bosnian means flat. So Ravne tunnel, discovered back in 2005. This is how they look like. Original shape. This is actually the most stable shape. This is how the Mayan built their structures, because you have the pressure equally distributed on all sides. In those tunnels, we've discovered dozens and dozens of the dry walls, and here to the right, there is a tunnel here, but the tunnel is filled with this filler material. So somebody closed the tunnel, and then they built the dry wall. Why dry wall? Dry wall, no cement, no binding materials. Obviously, somebody made those dry walls. Dry wall, dry wall, dry wall. So what we do, we actually remove the dry walls, we remove the filler material, we put the wooden support, and move towards the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. 5 years ago, we discovered another entrance, and we call that Ravne 3 tunnels. Now here we discovered open section of 65 meters, meaning somebody was getting inside during the periods of time. We discovered 3,300 artifacts, mostly ceramic and metal pieces belonging to different periods like Middle Age, Byzantine times, ancient Roman, Neolithic times. So it's been used occasionally. Now, in those tunnels, we can see stalactites on the ceiling, stalactites, the water dropping, forming the stalagmites. Well, we took several stalagmites because you can date them through 2 different methods. The first one is radiocarbon, the second one, uranium-thorium analysis. Interesting thing, above the first dry wall that we discovered in Ravne 3 tunnels, dry wall number 1, there was a plate all the way like this. Where this calcified shelfstone come from? It comes from ceiling. The ceiling collapsed, and this block was sitting on the top of the dry wall. So dry wall is older, obviously. Roof collapsed, we have block. And on top of this block, we are discovering stalagmites. So the stalagmites are the most recent. The block is a little bit older, and the dry wall the oldest. Common sense. In the meantime, we discovered a total of 5 dry walls. So what we did, you see how we are cutting, we are sewing the stalagmites. So we cut a total of 3 of them. We sent them for the analysis, and one of them was 26,200 years plus minus 250 years, which is consistent with the age of the pyramid. In the tunnels, we are discovering huge blocks. This is block K2, which is sitting on support. If it's sitting on support, it means somebody placed it there. If somebody placed it there, it is what archaeologists called anthropogenic work. So somebody, intelligent hands, was moving them and placing them right there. We took samples from the block. We applied very sophisticated scientific analysis, Röntgen diffraction analysis and phased analysis. At the Institute for Atomic Physics in Zagreb, Croatia, they told us the sample was definitely artificial ceramic material, which consists of quartz, calcite, and muscovite. Ceramic. If it is ceramic, it means somebody made it. Then we applied a georadar instrument. This is georadar. You go back and forth, left and right, so you can basically see through. You can see what is below. And this is what they told us. This block consists of 2 pieces, the base and the lid. In between, it is like an air pillow, meaning they were made in 2 different time periods, probably a couple of days difference. And inside this block, there are 3 pieces of minerals, quartz crystal. Quartz crystal has the ability to amplify the energy, to store the information, and to transform one form of the energy, in our case electromagnetic fields, which we measure there, into another one through the so-called piezoelectrical effect, to transform to the ultrasound. So in the tunnels, we measure 28 kilohertz frequency of the ultrasound. In science, it is known as the levitation frequency. And then we use another form of scanning, and we discovered a lot of dark blue areas. This is high frequency radiation. It is very good and very stimulative for our spiritual state of mind. And as a matter of fact, when people come to this block, our guides, we have 36 guides at our sites. They are trained to ask people to open their hands and to try to feel the energy of this block. Now, it has something to do with the spirituality, and I always like to define the terms. What is spirituality? When I went to school in former Yugoslavia, they teach us spirituality equals religious and religion stuff. No. Religious is one thing. Faith is another. Spirituality, for me, is development of spiritual senses. So we can sense the world beyond the physical reality. Physical reality, we use our 5 physical senses. We hear, we see, we taste, we touch, we smell, 5 physical senses. But what we can hear, for example, is called sound. We hear from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. About 20 kilohertz we don't hear. It is called ultrasound. Some animals can hear some frequencies of ultrasound. But basically everything higher, for example, megahertz, gigahertz, we don't hear. Everything below 20 hertz, 10 hertz, 5 hertz, very deep sounds, is called infrasound. We don't hear. We hear very, very small area of the sound. As a matter of fact, as we are getting older, with more gray in our hair, we don't hear 20 kilohertz no more. We hear 19, 18, 15, 10. And if you are married for 30 years, you don't hear your wife at all. Nor she hears you. The same goes with our eyesight. What we see, when the light comes through the crystal, then we can see those 6 different colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. Now, those 6 colors have been kidnapped by, we won't mention their name, LGBTIQ. The flags everywhere. But what we see is 0.7% of the world around us. We do not see 99.3%. Smell. I have 2 dogs. They can smell 5,000 times better than we do. But besides physical senses, we do have spiritual senses, 30 of them. The first spiritual sense is to feel the energy. You open your hands, and we can even experience our energy. Do what I do. Just do 5, 6 times like this. Don't touch your hands. And then you can feel resistance. You can feel a little bit warm. So what we are feeling is our auric field. Can you feel anything? Yes. So, feeling the energy is the first spiritual sense. Seeing the energy, seeing the bioenergy field or auric field, and we have 7 fields. Auric field is the most dense, so that one can be seen, is the second spiritual sense. Seeing the colors of the auric field or our chakras is another spiritual sense. Communicating with the thoughts, telepathy, is another spiritual sense. Nobody teaches us to use those potentials that we all have. We don't have teachers. It's not in the interest of the elites that we realize that we have spiritual senses. Moving the objects with the power of our mind, telekinesis, is a spiritual sense. And finally, moving through space and the time, teleportation is the spiritual sense. And even if it starts with the astral projections, we become aware that we have something that lasts much, much longer than our physical body. Our physical body for one use only, but very valuable experience. With our physical body, with our flesh and bones and blood, comes our energetical body, comes our intellectual body. Not just one brain, we have three brains. 1, 2, 3, heart and stomach. And at the medical faculties should learn about that. The most of neurons are here. The second largest area, heart, the third largest stomach. So, an emotional body. So it all comes with our physical body. That's one entity. But the second entity is our soul. At the time of our death, we are 21 grams less. Because soul leaves the body. It goes through many experiences. On this planet, before this planet, and in the future. Not only this planet, other solar systems, other galaxies, other universes. So we are almost forever. Imagine once you realize that you can move your soul through space and time, you got this self-confidence, and they said, why should I fear anything if there is no fear of death, which is major fear? Then why should we fear of losing our comfort, losing our jobs because our boss is a pain in the ass? Why should we fear, losing our bank accounts or our car or our home? No fear in our life. And now imagine if we become real spiritual beings, real, not reading books, real spiritual, no place for fear. We understand that we have no limits. And that's exactly the definition of the freedom. No limits. Imagine, we all become free. Who cares who's the prime minister or president? And once majority of us think and behave like that, the politics will become what it deserves, service to us, people. That's why spirituality is so important. Thank you. In other block, K1, we can see a lot of red. Red always associated with the low frequencies, but the low frequencies can penetrate our body. They can affect our blood circulation. If our blood circulates better, the flows goes to every alveol, we are healthier. And that way we are coming to the next aspect of our project. Every year we have hundreds upon hundreds of cases of healing at the Bosnian pyramid sites. People are going to the tunnels, going to the Sun Pyramid, going to the tumulus, healing testimonials. For example, this girl, Veronica, from Slovakia, he had very low lung capacity, 47% after one surgery. She was trying, the pharma and therapy, nothing was helping her. She came to Bosnia, to the tunnels. For 10 days, she was getting inside. In the morning, 1 hour, in the afternoon, 1 hour. Morning, afternoon. After 10 days, she went back. She got measured 84% after 10 days. And then that September 2015, she came back and she was volunteering for us. Before that, she could not walk normally. 5 steps, stairways, 1 stair at a time. And here she was pushing the wheelbarrow. The team from the Czech Republic brought the medical nurse, and they were checking about 20 different elements, like here the blood pressure, the blood pressure, here's the glucose in the blood. For example, this guy, Irka, he had 7.8 glucose before Ravne tunnels. When it comes to the sugar, 3.2, 6.2 normal level, 6.2, 10 risky group, above 10 diabetes. So he had 7.8, which was a risky group, a little bit higher. He came back, 5.1. Another one, Karel, he had 10.5, almost diabetes. He came back, 5.7. He dropped for 5 points. But let's take some extreme cases. The guy had over 20. He was diabetic. First entrance, second entrance, third entrance. It dropped basically to the normal level. First day, second day, third day, fourth day, 14 days. When he came back to Prague, he came back to his old habits, stressful environment, bad food, so it started rising again. But he had a chance here. This girl from Turkey, she used to have very high blood pressure, 220 over 135. The women can imagine migraines for 10 years. And then starting 2015, she's coming to the tunnels twice a year. Istanbul, Sarajevo, 4 times a day. And her blood pressure never goes higher than 140 over 90. Auric field. From the mentioned Professor Korotkov, we got his machine called BioWell. And we have measured 5,450 people in the last 8 years, before the tunnels and after coming back from the tunnels. More than 90% of the improvement in auric field. Look at this woman. We measured her before entering the tunnels. You see these continuations. Why? Because of the stress of the fears and everyday life. Energy 23 joules, balance 89%. She came back after 1 hour. She's like a brand new. Energy 58 joules, from 23 to 58, balance was 100%. This is machine measures. This person, here we can see her chakras, 7 chakras. Now, the chakras are almost balanced. This is excellent case. We have seen all kinds of cases. One chakra is there, one is there. I mean, they are everywhere, left and right. This is rather good balanced. It's just that chakras should be open a little bit more. And look at here, after coming back from the tunnels, this chakra is probably 4 times more open than before, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times more than before. So it affects our chakra system. If they are balanced, if they are open, good enough, energy flows better, it affects all aspects of our physical reality. This is an Italian professor, Dr. Zoccarato. He was measuring the blood before and after the tunnels, and he has noticed in many cases that after the tunnels, our blood cells, the red blood cells and white blood cells, are in much, much, much better shape. They are regular, they are not one over each other, and so on. Why is that happening? What we do, we measure, as you can see. We are in a scientific world. Combination of 9 elements. Number 1, cosmic radiation. We live on the surface of the planet, but we are exposed to the radiation coming from above. Some of them are harmful. Well, in the tunnels, 30 meters below the ground, no harmful cosmic radiations. Secondly, radioactivity. Sometimes we walk the streets and we are not even aware that radioactivity is coming from underground, attacking our body. And now our body cells, they are fighting cosmic radiations, they are fighting from the enemies from below, radioactivity. 24 hours a day, they try to protect our health. Well, we used Geiger-Miller counters to measure radioactivity. That was like 15 years ago from University of Sarajevo. They look like more professional if they are bigger. Today they make very compact Geiger-Miller counters, and we measure it on a daily basis. The values are tens of times lower than the minimum allowed amount. In other words, no radioactivity, no enemies. Then we have so-called geopathogenic radiations coming from underground water streams, coming from the Hartmann intersections, coming from Curry's intersections, Schneider's intersections. All these bad radiations have been neutralized in the tunnels. And then, number 4, mobile phones, cell phones. We can't live without them. Until last year, the last 2 countries in Europe who had 3G network were Bosnia and Ukraine. Interesting, huh? But sometimes it's good to be undeveloped, because 3G, 2.4 gigahertz, 4G, 6 gigahertz, 5G, 28, 39, 60 gigahertz. 60 gigahertz. I can breathe. Tomorrow, 6G, 300 gigahertz. These are radio waves. Our microwaves work at radio waves. And it's not a question if they cause the cancer and illnesses. Of course they do. That's what's happening to us. If you have a signal, it means you are exposed to the bad electromagnetism. If you have a talk, of course you have to talk on the phone. Always use speaker, speaker. Don't put it here. The moment you put it here, you see what's happening. Before the use of mobile phone, after 15 minutes, our hand is warm, our ear is red and hot, and we just lost 150,000 brain cells. Well, one would say, well, I don't care, I have 5 billion brain cells. Yes, 150,000 in the morning, 150,000 10 o'clock, 150,000 12 o'clock. Today, 1 million. Tomorrow, 1 million and million and millions. Eventually, we start processing information slower and slower. So we become less and less intelligent, mildly saying. So, no signal for the mobile phone in the tunnels. No signal for the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. This photo I made in Brisbane. They camouflage 5G tower with those leaves. They're like artificial palm leaves. So, we don't have any bad radiations in the tunnels. What does that mean? For the first time in our life, our body does not have enemies. Our body cells can start doing their job. What is their job? To fix the problems in our body, to start the regeneration process. Somebody has high blood pressure, somebody sugar, somebody mental problems, somebody tumor, somebody regeneration process. And that's not all. We measure 4 more energy phenomena. Number 6 is very low, extremely low frequency. It's called ELF, extremely low frequency of 7.83 hertz. In science, it is called the original Schumann resonance. This is what we call on the pyramids, on the tumulus, and in the tunnels. We move 100 meters, we go to the town of Visoko, it's already 10 to 12 hertz, we go to Sarajevo, 13 hertz, we go to Munich, 15 hertz, we go to New York, 18 hertz. Doesn't look a big difference, but when we are born at 7.83. That's the resonance of our planet, 7.83. When we think, if some of us still do those activities, when we think, we produce brain waves at 7.83. As long as we have the same frequency, we and our mother planet, we are in balance. You go to New York, 18 hertz, disbalance, which causes the stress. Stress somewhere in the mental aspect, affecting and causing about 75% of the diseases that we have. The next one. So these are the instruments that we use for different stuff. So we measure the best electromagnetism, 28 kilohertz. I mentioned ultrasound, 28 kilohertz. And we are coming to maybe the most important element. It's called negative ions. Negative ions are some extra electrons in the molecules. So they are negatively charged, and they are free in the atmosphere. They connect to the dust in the atmosphere. They become heavy, they drop to the floor. So, negative ions clear the atmosphere from dust, from smoke, from pollen, allergies, spring and summer, from microbes, and microbes are viruses, bacteria, fungi. More negative ions, healthier ambient around us. When the Corona project started, beginning of 2020, I was probably the first one saying, at least in our language, that it was a project, but we have a solution for it. If corona is a virus, negative ions are the solution because they kill all the viruses. In our homes, apartments, offices, very low concentration of negative ions, 20, 30, 50. We go to the downtowns of the big cities or towns, it's a little bit fresher, 150. We go to the mountains, in our case, 750 to 1,000. Or, for example, in this conference hall, when I started the lecture a couple of hours back, it was about 50 negative ions per cubic centimeter. When I finish about 2:30 in the morning, it will be 10, and you will all be sleepy. Why? Because there are more positive ions that make us sleepy. Well, anyway, in the Bosnian pyramid tunnels, the values during the summer are between 20,000 and 50,000. And during the winter, like this winter, they reach 225,000. This is by far the highest concentration on the planet. Because those instruments I always take with me to different locations from South Africa, Egypt, Germany, America, Jordan, Vietnam. The highest concentration on the planet. So it is 50 times healthier to be in those tunnels than in the pine tree forest on the top of the mountains. This is what we call science. So, a few weeks back, this nice 94-year-old lady came to our site in front of the tunnels. She saw me. She said, Dr. Sam, I've heard that it's very good to be in the tunnels, that it can help me. I said, well, yeah, people are talking about it, that it's real good. So she went inside. She spent 1 hour, and then she came back. We don't give any guarantees. Water, city water, chlorine, fluoride here in the United Kingdom, Republic of Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, 1/3 of the United States. Traces of heavy metals, they go through metal pipes. To our kitchens, they come through plastic pipes, traces of plastic. This is the water that we drink. This is energetically dead. Water in the tunnels, Bosnian pyramid tunnels. We discovered 5 tunnels with the water. This is one of them. Crystal clear and clean. After thousands of years, and it's being exposed to the pyramid energies. Highest concentration of negative ions, very beneficial to our body. The best electromagnetism, the best ultrasound, and so on, the orgone energy, and so on. So this water we have tested. First, conventional analysis, microbiological and chemical. The water is good, it's drinkable. pH is 7.4. When it comes to pH, 0 to 14, 7 is neutral, below 7 acid, no bueno. Above 7, alkalic, that's good. Alkaline, very good for us. Our blood is not 7. Our blood is 7.35 to 7.45. The water from the tunnels, 7.45. And then we sent samples to late Dr. Masaru Emoto. You see how many people are not among us no more. Maybe I should remove all my photos so I don't get this disease. This is the tap water from New York City. Dr. Masaru Emoto became famous by freezing different samples of water, minus 21 degrees Celsius, and then making photos through electronic microscope. This water has no structure at all. It's deformed completely. This is the water from dam, Fujiwara Dam in Japan. Looks green, looks nice, but actually molecular structure is awful. And then this is the water from their largest fresh lake, Biva, looks blue and nice, but actually it is contaminated. So we can see the molecular structure is bad. And then we sent the city water from Bosnia. Again, the city water, very bad structure. And then we sent the pyramid water. And this is how it looks like. It has a beautiful hexagonal structure, hexagon, element of sacred geometry, and beautiful crystal-like structure, like many Christmas trees. You can see that it is energetically alive. I call it happy water, high vibrating water. We are what we drink. We drink either this or that. Of course, we are what we eat, we are what we think, we are where we move. Either we stay inside 4 concrete walls, looking at a magical box, and they are telling us so many tested, so many disease, so many respirators, so many dead. So they are feeding us, or we go to the nature. If we cannot go every day to the mountain, we go to the park. At least we can hear some of the birds. Our destiny is in our hands. Today's lecture is in this book. This is second edition, which is out just for 10 days, my story. It is in the showroom. And I brought 4 more different books for those of you who wants to go deeper. New archaeology, megaliths around the planet, meditation at the sacred sites like Tibet, Cambodia, Caribbean, energy points of the planet. Somebody mentioned Anasazi, and that was wrong reference about Anasazis. Pueblo Indians and Hopi Indians have nothing to do with the original Anasazis. They simply had some of their knowledge, but they are not their ancestors. Also, there is a flyer there, 2-sided flyer. The first one is the invitation to come and join me to the Bosnian Pyramid Summer Solstice celebration for the next year, 2024. Once a year, I host a group for a week, checking all different Bosnian pyramids, sun and moon and dragon and tumulus and the tunnels, Ravne, Ravne 3, our beautiful park, a lot of meditations, organic food and so on. And once a year, in December, which will be a few months from now, I take groups to ancient Egypt. On this journey, we visit major temples and the pyramids. And the prices are always much, much lower than what my colleagues do. We have had a lot of obstacles. The government has not been funding us. As a matter of fact, from the very beginning, they wanted to stop this project. Historians, geologists, archaeologists, Ministry of Culture, they were not providing us with the permissions. Money never for our activities. Even today, no help with the marketing because this has become the touristic destination. So we had to find creative ways how to make this project going. One of the ways is to open the project for the volunteers from all over the world. Only in the last 13 years, we have had 3,750 volunteers from 64 countries and 6 continents. They come from June till the end of October. Some of them stay 3 days, some of them 7 days, 2 weeks, up to 2 months. They can come and choose. They can choose any accommodation in Visoko, on booking.com, 250 of them. They come to us Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. We provide the lunch, archaeologists, tools, and they have opportunity to be part of a huge discovery. They discover concrete blocks on the Sun Pyramid. They discover new prehistorical tunnels. They discover artifacts. They discover organic materials, and at the same time having excellent time among them. So we show them first day our locations, the pyramids, the tunnels, and second day, they got tools in their hands. So they start digging, some of them. Now, we've had people from 8 years old who were coming with their parents, and we had people 84 years old who were coming with their children. But there is something for everyone. These are things from the Sun Pyramid, removing the layers of soil, having good time, exposing the concrete blocks. Sometimes there are up to 50 of them during July and August, sometimes 10 of them, June, September. It's a beautiful, enthusiastic effort. It's our trench number 6. Of course, the second source were archaeological tourism for our funding. So we started charging just 2 locations, the Sun Pyramid and the tunnels. And of course, we have a little store with a souvenir and the books and even water, pyramid water, which we sell not as a healing water, but the Bosnian pyramid souvenir. Nowadays, we have to be careful with the Ministry of Health. So in 2018, we had 40,000 visitors. And all of that without the help from the government. 2019, 50,000. 2020, the first Corona year. We've had influx of tourists from Serbia, then Bosnians, of course, Macedonia and Montenegro. 2021, we had 135,000. 22 last year, 150,000. This year we expect 200,000 visitors. So we grow every year. And thanks to the visitors, it helps us with our major archaeological and scientific activities. Some of our official guides, we have the best guiding service in the Southern Europe. We train them for 3 months, and people can visit us every day of the year. It's not like you are coming to the State Museum. They are closed on holidays, they are closed on whenever. Mondays, they are closed after 3 p.m. No. We are always open. In 2015, I spent all my savings from Houston. I used to have a business over there, 120 employees. And I purchased 15 properties just below the Rane tunnels. It was swampy, muddy land with the garbage everywhere. And I have transformed that land into one of the most beautiful parks in Europe. How many of you visited the Bosnian pyramids? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. Okay, thank you very much. And after we drained the water, after we removed what was not necessary, we started building the water fountains, different installations, labyrinths of love, and so on. Stress-free oasis. Just last year, we have 156 school children from Bosnia who came to the park. No traffic, they are safe there, they got everything for free. Free parking, free entrance to the Ravne tunnels, free festivities when we have some concerts, free toilets, everything from free. Even when they leave, we clean after themselves. So, we try to attract as many people as possible so they can enjoy. Why is everything for free? I've learned one thing. When you are focused on material stuff, when you are there grabbing money and profit and bigger homes and bigger cars, you will never have enough. And if you are there and you share, there is someone who will take care of you. That's the one thing I learned. I'm 60-something. Music concerts, classical music, book promotions, playgrounds for the kids, the major Bosnian NBA players. We organize this sports stars for the children without parents, so we have humanitarian aspects. We have built about 40 wooden shacks, souvenir shops. We rent them to the local people, so we give a chance to local vendors to live off our project. concerts with thousands of people, always for free. We pay those artists. Like, for example, this singer from Serbia, 7,000 euros with the band. 7,000 euros for one night, plus lights and sound and security, 10,000 euros. That's how much it cost me that one night. And I gave it for free. And the festival this year lasted 5 days. Why am I doing that? When we get born, after 24 hours, we get the first vaccine. We don't even decide about that. And then as we are growing, they are telling us, you can do this, you can do that. And when we are over 18, the law forbids this, the law for... They are always limiting us. So we built the place when there are no limits, no boundaries. When we feel the freedom, people feel spiritual peace. They feel real serenity. And they like to come to us and stay as long as possible. Mike, are you here? Mike Wood. He's not here. That's okay. You're in the back. Mike came back to UK when? Like 10 days ago. And you are going back to Bosnian pyramids when? Why you are going there? Why? Yes. Thank you for a short answer. Okay, I'm about to finish. Concerts, many sports, Caravan of Peace, people come from 12 countries. We even pay for their accommodation so they can entertain the visitors to the park. Water fountains, flowers everywhere. Geopunctural circle, which amplifies the energy of the place. It was donation by Slovenian artist Marko Pogacnik and 14 artists from different countries. Aura amplifier, we realized if you put megalithic circle above underground water stream, it will transform negative to positive energy. If you build odd number of circles, 3, 5, 7, it would amplify this newly transformed positive energy. Last year we built top quality tennis courts. Actually, you've heard about Novak Djokovic. Novak's been coming to our place for 6 times already. One day we were walking and he said, listen, since I'm coming so often, I'd like to have one hard court so I can practice before tournaments. Where we can build it? I said, we can build it here. There was grass there. And then he said, well, I would need the other court, you know, clay court, because sometimes I play on clay, like Roland Garros. And so I said, fine, we're going to build it here. And then he said, okay, well, I would need a place for a shower. No problem, we're going to build it here. It was March 18. I said, if I build it for you, when you can come to open it? He said, okay, let me see. This year, Wimbledon, well, it was last year, 2022. He said, this year, Wimbledon is, the final is July 10th, Sunday. So if I win, I will come July 13th, Wednesday. If he wins, he left. Next door, I brought mechanization, we started digging, we started building the terrain, and I started all of that without the money. I did not have like money somewhere. I went to get the loan from the bank for our Bosnian Pyramids Corporation. We got the loan, 50,000 euros. I thought it will be enough for half of the costs. Eventually, it did cost me about 400,000 euros. So 50,000 was gone in like a week, because it was muddy, it was swampy. So if you want to get a good quality terrain, you had to dig very deep, you know, drain the water. Then I got another loan. Then I asked the government to help me. They said, no, it was not in the budget for this year. Okay. Then I sold some property, and I completed the stadium for 2,000 people on July 12th, night before. And I invited all the governments. We have 5 government levels. We have municipality and city and canton and entity, whatever, state. And they all came, even though they did not give me any money. But I don't think like it, okay, I'm going to revenge you. No, 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 no. I think always about the future. So they all came. And Novak made the best show in tennis ever seen. He was imitating Rafael Nadal and Federer, and he was playing, and he was, doing all kind of stuff. 75 media representatives, Associated Press, Reuters, Chinese Xinhua, France Press from France, TVs, and it was not about the war in Bosnia. It was not about the criminals there, and we have a lot of them. We can export them. It was about something nice, tennis, and young tennis players who were playing that morning. About sport, about the tourism, about the beautiful Bosnia. So we are changing the messages we are sending from there. Our sincere friendship, the man who was born in Serbia and the other one in Bosnia. And as we know, the tragic war in Yugoslavia, Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, a lot of bad blood even today. We are sending different message to our people and to the region. Instead of hating each other, this is the way for the future. Cooperation and friendship and peace. The new Western values, transhumanism, in which majority will become just the extension of the technology. Majority, us, extension, where we are fully controlled and manipulated, where they can turn us on and off when they desire. On the other hand, 3,000 super billionaires who wants to merge their brains, memories, neurons with artificial intelligence so that they can live forever. That's what they think. There is no such thing like forever. You can't go against the nature. So these are the new values, the Great Reset, justifying pedophiles. These are not the values that we instill here. What we have here, we started as the archaeological project, expanded to scientific, energy aspect, spiritual aspect, freedom, healing aspect. We built cultural oasis, sport oasis, nutritions, yoga, meditations, festivals, concerts. We offer different concept of harmony among us and harmony with the nature. Thank you very much. Thank you.